Evening are Henry Boyce, Supervisor of Municipal Law Enforcement, Emily McNeil, Municipal Law Enforcement Officer, Matthew Bolby, Deputy Chief Building Official, and Dilhara Abiwardene, the Secretary Treasurer to my left. Live streaming. Members of the public are advised that our meetings are live streamed by the Town of Grimsby. Individuals and media may be audibly and or visually recorded during this meeting. As a reminder, all electronic devices are to be in silent mode during our committee meeting. Do any members of the committee have a pecuniary interest with respect to the application that's before us this evening? Okay, I see none. We will now consider the adoption of the agenda for this evening. Will someone please make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Okay, thank you, Adam, and thank you, Dylan, for seconding. Let's put this to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. I see no one opposed. It is carried. Are there any requests or for withdrawal or adjournment?
No.
Have the committee members had the opportunity to review the minutes from December 16th, 2025, and are there any questions or comments about those minutes? I see none. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that? Okay, moved by Kevin, seconded by Adam. And we'll put this to a vote. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. I see no one opposed, so that is also carried. So we're going to move into the property standards appeal. And just an overview for the meeting procedures. The Town of Grimsby representative will present their case first, followed by a statement from an expert witness at the Town of Grimsby. The appellant will present their case next, followed by their own witness. The committee will have the opportunity to ask questions after each presentation. So we will now move officially into the Property Standards Committee meeting. The appeal to be considered is for the property known as Order Number 2025-644 for 396 Ontario Street. Is the appellant or the agent representing the appellant present this evening? That would be you? The homeowners? Perfect.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to call on staff to introduce the appeal. So I'll call on Emily McNeil, the Municipal Law Enforcement Officer, now to introduce the appeal. Oh, sorry, Dylan, you have a question. Go ahead.
Sorry, just through you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ensure, is the live streaming option been turned on? I just don't have any indication on Zoom.
We can hear you.
Yes, it is on, Dylan.
Is it? Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep, no problem. Thank you. So I'll call Emily up to the podium to present the, or to introduce the appeal. Thank you. Before you start, Emily McNeil, do you affirm that the evidence to be given by you relating to the matters in question between the parties to this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you please say I affirm or not?
I affirm.
Perfect, thank you. Can you please present the evidence?
Through you, Mr. Chair. My name is Emily McNeil, and I am a Municipal Law Enforcement Officer for the Town of Grimsby. I am appointed as a Property Standards Officer. Here is an overview of what the presentation will cover today. In November of 2025, we received concerns regarding 396 Ontario Street support beams under the large balcony in the rear yard not being anchored into the ground. Further issues were found with a portion of the balcony missing a guard, Property Standards Order No. 2025-644 was issued on December 10th, 2025, with an original compliance date of December 29th, 2025. On November 29th, 2025, I attended 396 Ontario Street. These are the photos I took while on site. Section 4.81 of the Town of Grimsby's Property Standards Bylaw, Note 1517, requires that any porch, deck, or landing be maintained to be free of defects, which may constitute a possible accident hazard, and that all supporting structural members that are deteriorated be replaced. Upon arriving at the property, I found that there were 3 wood support beams surrounded by concrete footings as seen in these photos. I saw that you can see in these photos that they're on the concrete footings. I saw that the other support beams appeared to be inserted or resting on the ground. Section 4.82 of the Property Standards Bylaw states that a guard must be installed on the open side of any balcony or landing more than 2 feet above any adjacent surface. While at 396 Ontario Street, I noticed that there was a portion of the rear balcony that was on a lower platform than the rest of the balcony. This portion did not have a full guard around the perimeter. Upon discussing the matter further with the Town of Grimsby Deputy Chief Building Official Matthew Bowlby, I found the property to be in violation of Sections 4.81 and 4.82 of the Town of Grimsby's Property Standards Bylaw. Matthew Bowlby will now be introducing expert evidence for this case.
Before you do, I'm just going to swear you in as well. Matthew Bowlby, do you affirm that the evidence to be given by you relating to the matters in question between the parties to this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Okay, thank you. And can you please present your evidence?
Okay, so again, Matthew Bowlby, Building Division, Deputy Chief Building Official. So December 19th, Mr. Ireland came in to apply for the appeal. He wanted to discuss the contents that more specifically related to the building code. So Officer McNeil asked that I go to the front counter and chat with Mr. Ireland. I reviewed photographs that were provided by Officer McNeil, which depicted the rear balcony deck structure. Photos and discussion focusing on the footings and column areas. Based on the review of the photographs, the structural columns and footings supporting the balcony were undersized as they're resting on deck blocks. And then the columns, if ever altering a balcony, there's components of the building code grandfathering. And when it comes to structural components, you don't get much grandfathering. So you would, if you're replacing columns, new code. So.
Sorry, yeah, we'll continue.
Yeah, so new construction 6x6. So I advised Mr. Ireland that 6x6 is new code. I identified there wasn't any cross bracing. As soon as you are greater than 2 feet from grade to underside of joist, you need some diagonal bracing to help take out some sway. That would be another structural component related to those items as a cursory review looking at the photos. And obviously all the fasteners that go with it. So, yeah, during our conversation, obviously, Mr. Ireland, he had concerns around cost and timing. It sounded like it wasn't, that he wasn't willing. He was more interested for an extension. I was discussing different alternatives and options, how you would make the structure comply with code. If he was struggling to figure out what to do or how to phase in the construction, I recommended he contact a professional contractor. They can start pointing him in the right direction. They also, typically, they have designers, engineers in their back pocket if they needed to, because it's, I would imagine a couple decades old, the deck, so sometimes you want to utilize the existing structure, so sometimes you bring in, designers or engineers to help use what you have. Mr. Ireland said at that time, he had not contacted any contractors or designers, and so he was just kind of, getting his ducks in a row. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can I invite Emily back up to bring us through the motion and the options also?
The committee has the option to either confirm Property Standards Order No. 2025-644, rescind the order, extend the compliance date for the order, or modify the order of set conditions. In consideration that the order was issued on December 10th, 2025, with an original compliance date of December 29th, 2025, the town recommends that the committee extend the compliance date for the required work regarding the balcony support beams, but have access to the balcony restricted and establish a timeline for the property to apply and achieve a building permit. The town also recommends that the compliance date for the work required regarding the lower platform with no guard be confirmed. I'll now take any questions.
Thank you. Now is an opportunity for you to ask questions to the town, but you also have an opportunity to present your evidence. So if you want to move into that section of the meeting, I just ask that there's some microphones over there. If you'd like to move over to that location, there's 2 microphones, and you can present your evidence for your case as well. Oh, before we do, we got to get you mic'd up. Name and address for record?
So I'll start with the first one.
Okay, before you do, I'm just going to swear you in as well, just to get those official things out of the way.
Okay.
I'll let you get situated there a minute. Yep. No, yours isn't on. There's a button on the right side. Okay. What I'll do is I'll swear you both in.
Sure.
And then I'll let you present your evidence. So I'll start with Kevin. It's Kevin Ireland, is that correct? Okay. Do you affirm that the evidence to be given by you relating to the matters in question between the parties to this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I have here as well Catherine. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, Catherine Ireland, do you affirm that the evidence to be given by you relating to the matters in question between the parties to this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So if you want to present your evidence, that would be great.
Okay. I also have, we have some backup evidence to go with some of the photos, but I also have a bit of an intro as well. Can I start with that, or I don't know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not sure how it all works, so, okay.
Yep.
And I'm not well, so please excuse me if I get a little word findy. So that's why I have it typed out. So thank you, committee members, for seeing us on this appeal. I also have our son Asher here as a witness if we need him, and then my dad's here to help me out if I need help, and then, Kevin. I just wanted to quickly direct just to Emily's report on, because there's an error on the report. I don't know if this is the time and place to put it in there. from page 47. I don't know if you guys you probably have the report there. When she talks about that upon arrival, she spoke with the property owner, and then there's something redacted, I guess the name, and advised redacted of the complaint. She actually spoke to my son Asher, who identified himself. I don't know if you want to hear what that conversation was, but it definitely was not speaking. There was no, I wasn't home. I'm the only one that lives at home with him. So I don't know if you want to hear from me what was discussed, or from Asher what she discussed with him. What is there?
I'd say for now, let's focus on the
Okay,
deck.
We'll keep going.
Yep.
And then later, again, I think
He is
when-
17,
Yeah.
not an adult.
Oh. Yeah, that's part of our thing, is that, yeah, he's underage. That's, and she asked that, and he told her clearly that he's underage, so that
Okay.
was part of it. Anyway,
Yep.
so continue on, and I also, and the other one doesn't really matter, it's just, I can't remember the gentleman's name over there that came back on December 12th, when there was no answer and stuff, but I was in the hospital and oh no, it was like the 16th, and I was in the hospital and Asher was sick. Anyways, doesn't matter. So, but I have been, throughout this, I've been in the trauma unit since December 16th to the 30th. I know that Kevin was dealing with this issue, and that he was doing his best to do the appeal as well. I just found out, he asked me last week if I could attend this. My health is very unstable. I was in the hospital, admitted again on the weekend, but I'm here, so hopefully I can help, you know.
Last 3 months, we both had.
you don't
Sorry,
have a thing on.
just
So-
one at a time. We'll let her speak, and then when she's
yeah, I'll
done,
get to
we'll give
that.
Kevin
Yeah.
a chance.
So according to the first property code in regards to the rear balcony, number 1, as per the Ontario Building Code. So now I'm getting into the actual property standards appeal. So when they're discussing about the support for the balcony. So we actually did, Kevin probably doesn't remember, we actually did get 2 quotes to do some repair on the balcony, or actually redo the balcony, because we wanted to look at redoing it. And at that time, and I don't have any paperwork on it, these are just people that came and checked it out. I'm just being honest and telling you that we did. And at the one was, the first time we had a quote, it was about $20,000, and the second one was about 30. So I can imagine to redo it would be about probably around 50 to do it properly by code and everything. At this point, because it's been within like the 10 years that we did that. Unfortunately, over the past few years, Kevin and I decided to separate. And with that, planned on selling the house. Or we are, then planned, but now we're selling it. We've had it up for sale, and then we took it down, and then we had to wait for lawyer proceedings, which took way longer than either of us thought it would ever take. It took almost 3 years to do the separation stuff, and getting the house ready through this crashing market for us to sell it. So in the meantime, Kevin worked on trying to stabilize the deck. And I'm still just talking about the post, not the second part yet, the area just above. So, and if you want Kevin to talk about that part, the post, he can do that. So, because I don't know anything about, I don't know anything about construction or anything about that. So I can stop there and we can just focus on just that post part, or I can continue on to the second part, which is kind of really short and sweet.
Yeah, continue, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the second part is add the guard to the lower balcony to the south in the rear yard. So I don't know if you may not want to go back to those photos, but it's kind of funny, those photos. And I sent 3 extra photos to Henry last night because it took me a while to get paperwork together. But they're the photos up on the deck. So you could see it from not just above, but from the other view. But what I didn't understand in the writing, there were stairs going up there. It wasn't like a lowered balcony. It was a stairwell. So I think that part was missed. So if you looked at the photos again, you could kind of envision or imagine that there was a stairwell going up and down that spot. And so the stairwell started to fall apart. And instead of continuing repairing it, and we were renting the lower level at that time, and then we stopped renting it due to, we found out that it wasn't a setup. When we purchased the house, we were told we could rent it. Long story, we told we couldn't rent it, so we're not renting it anymore. It's a single family home now. You can't say anything. Anyway, and so we took the stairs down because they were just a danger, and we blocked off. And you can see in the extra photos that we sent to Henry, or I sent to Henry, they would have come in this morning, that it's all blocked off. You can't block it off any more than it already is, that extra little area. But that's what that little extra area is. There was a staircase. And then I also added that it's locked on the upper level, on the inside, so nobody, delivery person, stranger, thieves, whoever, nobody can enter that deck area without us coming in through the back. We have a screen door off the kitchen upstairs. We have to come out there to let them in. And we don't even use the deck really anymore. So, because we're putting it up for sale, and that's that. So, and I guess I do have a final thing, but it's really just about, it's simple. It's really like Kevin's on disability, I'm on CPPD. We're both in very tight budgets. The last few months, Kevin has also had life-altering surgery that limits his already daily challenges. It's so weird that we both had major surgery in the last few months. I can't explain how the universe works. I was rushed to emerge on the 16th for life-saving surgery that's completely changed my life. So I'm very limited on what I can do now and for a long time. And what I can, but we believe that the deck, just 1 second, I'm almost done. So we believe that the deck could possibly remain just as it is until someone will purchase the house and they can build it into their own dream deck. Because however we fix it or repair it, that doesn't mean that it's going to be what this person who's going to purchase the house, what they're going to want, and just tear it down again for what they want. We want it to be safe, so we feel that we've put in what we've done our best to try to make it stable. We feel it's safe, but stability we also know is important. And we don't have the funds nor the ability or health to ongoing dealing with these things. And anyway, thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So-
Thanks for your testimony to that.
To point out,
Yeah,
both of us have had ostomy surgery in the last, like, mine was in September, hers was at Christmas. So neither one of us is actually able to do anything. But yes, the deck we know needs rebuilt, but we would like to leave it to the next owner.
We would have loved to have
Yeah.
It's a beautiful deck.
As you've been in the backyard, you've seen what the backyard
Did you get
is.
to go in the backyard, sir? Oh,
sorry, now we have to just keep the conversation to one side. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
you looked at the backyard, you've seen the backyard,
we didn't. You didn't get to go.
so,
You never did.
yeah, no, it is a beautiful backyard with the new owner can build a deck with a hot tub and everything else. But yeah, we don't want to spend the $30,000 to fix it. And we would just like to not have the town come in and fix it and let the new owner get the building permits and everything to do it themselves.
okay. Yeah, thank you. Do we have any, I'll first give it to staff. Do you have any questions immediately that you would like to ask? Otherwise, I'll put it to the committee and we'll do a round of questions for both of you. No? Henry or Emily, do you have any questions you'd like to put forward now?
The town has no current questions.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll put it to the committee. Is there any questions from the committee? Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I just have just a few background, maybe questions and context for staff. So is there a building permit on record or on file on this deck? Do we know?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Through you, Chair, no record of deck permits. Yeah.
Do we know, was it constructed by yourselves or was it a previous owner that constructed a deck?
We bought the house probably 20 years ago. The deck was there. The only thing we have done is when the posts rotted out, I put the deck blocks underneath. That is it. We know it needs rebuilt, but we were separated at the time or going through separation, so we don't want to spend $30,000 to fix it.
Okay, thank you.
Can I also, sorry. I just want to clarify, the posts weren't rotted out, they were looking worn. We have a huge, beautiful maple tree in the backyard that is just glorious, but it keeps the deck damp. So covering it, taking care of the deck on a yearly basis is very important, but that also, it still affects the deck. So that's the culprit, not us really, but we never had the heart to get rid of the tree, and we never would. In order to stabilize, that was the attempt and he has a background in construction, and he's a steam fitter of trade and had other trade workers help him when he was putting it together. So, but we didn't have like a actual deck person do it. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Adam, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. To Mr. Bowlby from the town, what would be his expert visual assessment of the structure of the deck in terms of safety and everything like that? I know it doesn't meet code, but visually, what do you remark about it?
So based on my assessment of the photographs, which obviously only showcase certain elements, and the conversation being around the columns and the footings. So any balcony, any second-story balcony, even much lower off the ground, needs to Actually, I'm just going to ask, I couldn't quite hear your question, but are you saying what my recommendation would be, or more like really ultimately what is the minimum the building code would require? Is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, sorry. It's just basically, what would your assessment be in terms of, it's safe or is it not, even though it's not up to code? Would you walk on it, essentially?
Right. Yeah. So in these scenarios, it's tough. Like our rules, the relationship normally is the homeowner contractor kind of takes that lead. So I'll speak to just basically the path of least resistance within the building code that would take the concern that's been brought forward through the property standards bylaw where it does lack. It just says make sure you meet the code, and that kind of is fairly open-ended. So I'll answer it with, if it was me, I would try and use what I have. There's no way around your footings. You just can't rest a second-story balcony on deck blocks. It's just, and I don't know what it was resting on before. Were there sonotubes in there? Usually that vintage of deck, there would be sonotubes somewhere, but maybe they're removed. I don't know. Nevertheless, footings are the 101, so you'd put typically sonotubes in there, and then if we would, in the building department, in this circumstance, we would work with the homeowners to make the process as smooth as possible. I still would have a second set of eyes on how do you reinforce that column. So basically, there's part 9 of the code, very prescriptive. That's where it says it has to be 6x6s. There's part 4 of the code. That's where you can get a little creative with engineers. But there's a cost and there's a time with that service. So I think that would be it. I obviously, for their purpose, they want to sell, but obviously they don't want to sell like an unsafe situation. To further answer your question, what's the severity? Like, what does my intuition and experience say to it? Yeah, it's not ideal, and for me to provide a position and say it's not that bad, and then obviously in the back of my mind is, yeah, this would be the time that something does happen. The fact that it's subject to swaying, like when you have a second-story balcony, yeah, especially without cross bracing or anything on the underside of joists, yeah, you're going to get sway. So severity, I would say, I would echo what Officer McNeil's suggestion was to prevent access until you reinforce the structure. And I think there are, some easy wins there, and without having to, entertain that $20,000 to $30,000, those quotes that they got. I would certainly get a handyman that knows like his way around some framing and then the building department would work side by side with them to find the best path for them. If that helps answer your question.
Yes, thank you. And I actually have a question for the appellants. The lower deck that's missing the railing, I see that it's blocked by it looks like just slatted wood. How is that fixed there? Is it affixed permanently, or is it just sitting there?
The lower deck is completely blocked off. There is no access to it. When we removed the staircase, we had a contractor screw the wood in, so there is no access to that lower deck. I agree with the gentleman on that. We know that the deck needs rebuilt, but we would like to let a new owner figure it out with building permits and everything. We do not, well, I don't live there, she lives there, but her and Asher do not go on that deck knowing that it needs work, so.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to make a comment. We're talking, to me, this meeting is about the columns, the footings, and the guardrail. And we're not really, because we don't have pictures that are looking beyond that, but those are the main issues. And while those are the issues, we're talking about a $30,000 full rebuild. I don't know if that is on the table right now. All we know is we have to address these certain issues, and it should come with a building permit, and this should be done properly. And so I'm a carpenter. I know exactly what I'm looking at, what this would cost, and just to put columns in isn't $30,000. There are companies that do that, and they could get this into a good condition, or a condition that would appeal the town and not cost $30,000. So as I look at this, I see a safety issue. The sway, you've mentioned you have health issues, and I sympathize, like that's horrible that's happened at the same time. But I just have this envisioning of people on the deck, and the deck collapses. And now we have more people that have issues, and they could get injured because it's a safety thing. And so when I look at this, preventing access to the deck makes sense. I don't know if the town would be okay with that, but that would be guarding off that access that you said comes from that second story. I believe you said it was your kitchen. So guarding that, fixing guards permanently to the outside of that door, or tearing down the deck and letting someone else rebuild it, or fixing the columns and the items that have been kind of brought forward at this meeting. So those are my comments. I want to continue with the committee. Is there any other comments that we want to make? Yeah, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we've dealt with property standards issues that are more, I'm not going to say cosmetic, but they were more of a messy property. This is a health and safety issue, and that would be my concern. You have friends over, or your son has friends over, they're on the deck by accident. I know that's how accidents happen. All of a sudden the deck collapses. So I'm with the chair on this. I think there is a more cost-effective way to support these, the pillars that we're looking at. I empathize with you in the situation, but then the property should be listed for sale if you're serious about it. My other concern is, of course, how does a new buyer get notice of this appeal and this deficiency on the property? I don't know if there's a property notice or the appeal is registered on title. Obviously, the lawyer, when they go for a clearance letter from the town, I imagine this is in their file, so they would get a record of this action on the property, because that would be my other concern, is that somebody else buys it, not familiar with construction, is not aware of this whole concern on the deck, and they buy it, and it becomes a liability pushed forward to the next buyer. So that's my other concern, is deferring it too long. So, and then what happens between now and if we give an extension, if that's the committee's pleasure, what happens if something were to or what would the town's liability be if we defer it for 6 months and something were to happen between those 6 months? So there's a lot of concerns here, and it's related to safety. So I have quite a bit of concern about this extension and deferring it like we have in the past.
Thank you. Yeah, you want to comment? Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, first of all, we, in regards to safety, as I said, we've blocked it all off. We have had a contractor that has stabilized a lot of the area around, like where that, the top part where the pillars are as well. But like, yeah, not at the bottom, like where we're talking about, but, no one goes on that deck. And sorry, Ash, but he doesn't have a lot of like human friends. They're all online. So there are no friends that come over. I don't invite, it's just Asher and I that live there. And the house is basically set up to sell. It was on the market. And then the real estate person's time ran out, and the market is horrible. So, and it was over Christmas, so we took it off the market, and then we got sick. And that's the only reason why it's not on the market, because I don't have the health capacity to continue to pack up my house. That is the only we have a real estate person, but we can't sign her because the house has to be put up within a certain, they have policies and rules, but I won't get into that. Like, it has to be put up within so many hours, blah, 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 blah. So once the house is ready, that's what I was in the middle of doing when I had to go to emerge. So now, the real estate agents that we had coming into our house, we informed every one of them, and we can bring the real estate agent that we have right now in. We could have brought her today, and she would have told you that we were very honest with her about the deck, and that the deck needed repair, and that whoever was purchasing the house, that needed to be disclosed if it wasn't obvious. And obviously, if they were going to get a assessor, they would know it, like they would see it, right, if they were paying a proper assessor. But we were upfront with all of the real estate people about it, and sadly, we have no actual proof because it was redacted, but a couple of real estate people that we chose not to hire may have made a concern about the deck, and could be why we're here today. We're not sure. But it was still a safety issue. People are concerned about safety. They're concerned about safety, so they're going to say something about it. So that's the way it is. And so that's why we're here. And but that's because we were being honest about what was going on with the deck, and that it would need, eventually somebody would want a new deck. And we felt that we had put it in a state of stabilization, and that was something that they were going to need to look at purchasing the house. So in regards to people being on it, the only person who's on it is my son in the morning to feed the birds. And then he's, Asher, did you want to say something?
Before you do, if you're gonna speak,
I'm gonna turn mine off.
Yeah, we have to get you to come up to the microphone, because we have folks online. They want to be able to hear what you have to say.
Can I make a quick comment that this deck is 30 by 10?
Mm-hmm.
So it is a huge deck that we're talking about.
Yep.
It's not a quick fix anywhere.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a button on the right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to state quickly that with the cold, you can barely even open the door, and might as well be sealed off anyway. I can barely even get through that with using all my strength. So.
Sorry, Henry, you're going to say something?
Just putting the legal context on this, him being under the age of 18, he can't speak on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. So I'll have to get you to sit back down for that. Yeah.
But you did ask him for access to look at it.
No, but he didn't go.
Yeah, that's a separate issue. So we'll leave that for now. We're just going to focus on the issue at hand. Okay, I have a question for building department and the town. I'm leaning towards guarding it off, because in the immediate, these are just my thoughts. In the immediate, we guard off. We have them guard off the door. So what would that look like? And then the structure's there. So either the structure is demolished or it's brought up to code. That's what I'm feeling, because just leaving it there, and I understand the intentions are good, that we're going to pass the information on to the next owner, but that next owner may not happen. Might be 6 months, might be a year. We don't know. That's an unknown. But what we do know is there's a deck that's not safe, and it can't be there, or it needs to be brought up to code. So my question then to anyone is, what would you require as far as guarding? And then what would be a proper lead time for building permit and work to be completed?
We agree with guarding it off.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair, the town would be on agreeance with that. How that looks is we need some sort of mechanism, just as easy as putting a piece of plywood on the outside and screwing it to the exterior to ensure permanent restriction of access, to ensure that nobody is actually walking on it. That would be acceptable from the town's perspective under property standards.
Okay, and then, oh, do you have a question?
Sorry, just one quick question, though. Does that become a fire exit problem then, in the case of an emergency, if there's plywood screwed over a door?
Through the chair, there is still a front door access on this property. This would be the rear door, so that would be their fire exit and entrance there, as it is a residential property.
The house has windows through every bedroom, 6 foot, so there is access out for fire hazard.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that answers the one question. And perhaps then to the building department, what would be an appropriate timeline for permit and rebuild versus, well, I think that would be the longest timeline because a demolish is a demolish. Just one sec. I'll get the town to answer that, and then we'll go to you.
In these scenarios, we typically will help the homeowner. We work with the contractor that would, in theory, if this is a reinforcement, we would work to keep a very simple set of drawings, and it would be hand-drawn 9 times out of 10. These scenarios, they're hand-drawn. If we get into anything unique by using a 4x4, like I said, we may need to just get that extra set of eyes on it, such as a professional engineer, just to stamp and advise on the drawing. So time frame, those happen pretty quick, especially if it's footings and columns and bracing. It's not a comprehensive set of drawings, and it's not an extensive review. We are mandated 10 business days to get back to the applicant. If we work closely together, usually we can achieve that. This, from my experience, yeah, we can. We would be able to achieve that 2-week mark, so long as we get those drawings brought in, and then we would be working with them to make sure the right information's on those drawings in order to hit that 2-week window. That would be the goal.
Okay, thank you. Dylan, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just, I guess, some observations and maybe a question. So, I'm in favor of having sort of a permanent restriction of access while this is, being dealt with in the grander scheme. I do agree with Kevin that it is a health and safety issue. So hopefully that restriction of access would address this in the short term. I would also say that, again, given sort of the weather and the current circumstances of the homeowners, I would imagine that, if there are new footings that need to be, poured or posts put in the ground, that, there may be some sort of physical restrictions because of weather that may impact this. So I'm okay with sort of a limited, time frame, and I am certainly not in the sort of building industry, so I have no idea if that would be, by April 30th or, May 30th, something like to that. In that sort of time frame. So to give a bit of time in order to sort of plan for this and to get a building permit and also allow the weather to cooperate. So, I would be okay with that sort of kind of extension. And then I guess, building on what Kevin had said, from a sort of, real estate selling point of view, how is this sort of documented for a, for a future homeowner, since it has come, through property standards? I have no doubt that the homeowner would be honest and would tell their real estate agent, et cetera, but I'm not sure, does the town have a role to play in that? So that's sort of where I'm standing right now, and happy to hear more from my committee colleagues, because I do think that given some of the circumstances, if the access is permanently blocked sort of ASAP, to give a bit of breathing room for perhaps a fix to be devised or the house to be sold, et cetera. So, trying to sort of meet the immediate need, yet also, give a bit of breathing room, but it does need to be addressed.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. Yeah, you go ahead.
When I spoke to a real estate person about, when we got these papers, about what this would mean, and she said that once it goes through the Chamber of Commerce, it would be within the paperwork that any potential homeowner could look that up.
Okay, thank you.
But not only, and us giving them the same information that we've given everybody else as well. But she said it would be documented within the town's paper or whatever records that this meeting happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
Through the chair, the town also has the ability to register the order on title to ensure when that title search is done by some new potential owners that order is there for their view.
Okay, thank you.
We agree with that.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
No, just to add to that further, I agree. Yeah, we can register the order. When you're working with your lawyers, I am not a real estate lawyer or a real estate agent, but from experience, homeowners are obligated to disclose any latent defects when selling a property, and then those questions, those items come up in the contract when you are in that transaction, but more effectively in our position, registering the order.
Yeah, as we said, we contacted her realtor as soon as this started going, and she was fully on board on disclosing to every realtor that she will talk to. So.
Okay, thank you. Dylan, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on what has been said, I think that if, there's obviously the obligation on the part of the homeowner to disclose something when selling their home, that would be sort of their part in this, but I would also recommend that this be registered on title in order to, in order to document the town's due diligence on this. So, my recommendation would be, permanently restrict the access, register this order on title, and also give extend the time period in order for it to be fixed. In order to sort of physically have this done, but not an excessive timeline, because it does affect health and safety. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Dylan.
We agree that it will be done, but as we've pointed out, that both of us are dealing with major health issues at the point. But as we said, our realtor is telling everybody that it needs done. If the town wants to put an order on, we'll agree with that.
Okay.
But yes, we don't want to fix it ourselves. So
okay.
Let the next owner do it.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm just going to read out the next step of this meeting, which is the motion for appeals. Upon considering the appeal, the committee may confirm the order, modify the order, rescind the order, or extend the compliance date on the order as the committee considers appropriate. The motions required with respect to the decision under appeal shall be seconded and shall be read by the chair before debate and shall be read again by the chair before being voted on. Once seconded, the motions may be debated by the committee. In situations where more than one decision is under appeal, the appeal shall be debated separately and voted on separately. Once each member of the committee has had an opportunity to state their position on the appeal before it, the chair shall call for a vote. So we've gone through that process. I think we're almost at that point where we're ready to call for a vote, and we have 4 potential motions that we can put forward. So we can resolve that the property standards order, that the property standards committee confirm the property standards order. As I said before, we can resolve that the property standards committee rescind the order. We can extend the compliance date, or we can modify it. So I'm going to ask the committee now, are we ready to make, is someone ready to make a motion? Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to modify the order in a sense. I'd like to add to it. So I would agree that we would extend the compliance date to Friday, July 31st, but restrict access for the required work. So restrict access to the deck and confirm compliance date for the required work regarding the lower platform. So those two are the same as suggested, but just to extend the date to Friday, but then also add that the town register this order on title as soon as possible, because it doesn't sound like the applicants want to actually do the work. They're just waiting for the new buyer. So I think it's just important that notice be given. So as long as there's no access to the deck, then I think July 31st is more than reasonable to do the work if they plan to do the work. But if not, it's going to be registered on title, in my opinion. That's my recommendation.
Okay. So just so I have it if I understand it correctly, you are modifying, instead of adding conditions as we would for committee of adjustment, you're going to modify it, and the modification is going to include that you're restricting access through a fixed guard. You are going to, they're going to register on title. The town will do that. And then you're going to make the date of compliance July 31st, 2026. Is that correct? Okay. Do I have a seconder for that? I see Adam has seconded that.
Now, so my only question, I guess, to staff, if we're extending the date and they don't comply by that date, what happens after July 31st? They still haven't sold the house, let's say. It's blocked off from public access. I guess what's the town's next move typically in something like this? Would they actually go in and do the work, or just carry on as long as there's no public access to it?
Through you, the chair, that restriction of access would only be a temporary measure. So the town, if compliance wasn't met by the deadline agreed upon here, the town would send in an approved contractor, go through the building permit process, and then find that cheapest solution. So that would be weighing the options of redoing the footings versus keeping the 4x4s and then going through that engineer's perspective. But we would essentially repair the property and or demolish it, whatever is the cheaper option for the property owners, and then that cost would be associated back to the property owners.
Thank you.
So that would be my recommendation. I think there's a cost-effective solution here, as Chairman Dan outlined. I think if you replace those posts, I mean, I'm not an engineer either, but I think that's a good solution. And July 31st is a reasonable extension. It's 6 months from now, basically. And then the notice protects public safety and public interest. So that's my motion.
Okay, you want a clarification? Go ahead.
So I think it's very reasonable. I thank you. My only question is, so we're also weighing it on the housing market. So say we have the house up for sale in March, it's up for sale, we're waiting, we have people looking at it, deciding yes, no, maybe, or maybe we're in the process of people like, mid-July going, sort of working out finances, and we're getting past like July 31st. It's like, where does it fall into? Like, we didn't try to sell this house, because we can't we have no control of the market. You know what I mean? Like, that's because it seems dependent on the market, unless I'm misunderstanding something.
Just to point out, in September, I went into the hospital and had major bowel surgery. She went into the hospital at Christmas and had major bowel surgery. We are dealing with a realtor, and she is on board on selling the house, but with our health concerns, we haven't actually listed.
Okay.
Just, it is up. We have a realtor. She is on board. It just, yeah, we're, health concerns haven't quite worked out. So yes, we will. The plan is to sell the house. Disclosure right now, because I'm sick, I've managed to get RBC to pay the mortgage. So we have a little bit more time to wait for it. But yes, the house is to be on the market at any point.
Okay. Yep. I have a question for the town. And just as we're debating this motion that's on the floor right now, if they sell mid-July, the new homeowner then assumes that they will have this fixed by end of July? Is that basically how it would work?
Through the chair, that is correct. So even if it changes hands, the new owners would inherit the ruling here today and the order the way it is.
Yeah. Okay. Dylan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just really sort of going to get clarification too. I think that basically what the message we're sending to the homeowners, and I just want to be clear, is that by July 31st, this needs to be resolved, whether it's by them or whether it's by new homeowners. I do understand their health problems. I have my own. And I do sympathize, I really do. And I know that the housing market has been difficult. But I think that, as Kevin pointed out, this is a health and safety issue. This isn't something that can continue on and on and on. I think as well that it's a generous, that Kevin's timeline would be more generous than mine. And I do think that it is generous, based on what the town, originally, came down with. So I just want to, I would just say that I think July 31, regardless, whether it's by new homeowners or by them, this does need to be addressed. So I just want, I guess, to sort of reaffirm that, that's the assumption by the committee as we vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Adam, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I just want to comment to the motion, and I think it's kind of strikes a fair balance between the homeowner's position and situation and the health and safety of the town. So I'm in support of it.
Okay. Yeah, as far as that date, I was a bit shocked. July 31st. I was thinking May. So yeah, it is very fair that we go a 6-month lead time. As long as we've temporarily guarded that off, I could support this. So any further questions from the committee? Any further debate? I see none. Okay,
Thank you.
we're going to put this to a vote. So all in favor of the motion that was moved by Kevin, seconded by Adam, raise your hand or say aye. Okay, I see none opposed. So this is carried. The municipality in which the property is situated or any owner or occupant or person affected by a decision by the committee, by the Property Standards Committee may appeal this to the Superior Court of Justice by notifying the clerk in writing and applying to the court within 14 days after a copy of decision is sent. So that means that this, we've made the decision, but you have the opportunity to appeal if you would like to. And with that said, I'd like to thank everyone. I thank the Property Standards Committee, the town staff, and the appellants for coming in today. And this meeting is adjourned at 8:04 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for our Committee of Adjustment, the next meeting for Committee of Adjustment will be held on February 17th, 2026. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Night, everyone.